Let's go. Y'all don't know how hard I worked for this video. Seriously. Playing Wraith is a pain in the ass. But I did it for y'all. I did it for y'all. Right there, guys. That's for you. Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I have the 4K damage guide with Wraith in Season 7 for all of you. Now, a lot of people had requested this video, and I'm a man of the people, so I got it done for you guys. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to talk to you about a bunch of the general tips and tricks that I use in order to get these badges solo. And then I'm also going to walk you through some of my decision making when it comes to these fights that I got into, and just how to set yourself up for success when it comes to fighting that team and being ready to fight the next team. If anyone's new and isn't already subscribed, I hope you'll consider subscribing so you don't miss out on my next upload. And if you enjoy this video, please be sure to slap a like on it because it does help the video. All right, guys, let's get right into it. All right, so I was trying to get this badge playing in trios, solo queuing, and I was getting close. I had a lot of games where I had right around 3,600, but I ultimately, wasn't getting the success that I wanted. So I ended up switching to duos nonetheless, and I did have a teammate obviously with me, but they end up leaving pretty soon here. And when you go to play solo, like completely solo, right? When you're completely alone and you're trying to get these badges, you definitely have to play a bit different. All right, and I'm going to talk to you about how you need to do that. And I know a lot of you Wraith mains like to play solo a lot of the times anyway, so hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. So obviously when I play to get these types of games, I'm always going to drop in Fragment. Unless a lot of people are going Sorting Factory, that's the only other place I'll probably go. Sorting or Skyhook, I should say. I like Fragment and Skyhook because they're buildings, they're spread out, you can get some loot, and then you can go and fight a few different teams. And then chances are people are going to rotate into you, especially in Fragment. So always land in like one of those three areas, but for the most part land in Fragment. I try to land somewhere where I can know for sure I can at least get a gun and still contest somebody. Now that's a hard thing to do, but I do like the big zipline building. If I land in the small zipline building that is broken, I feel like that building gets third party the soonest, so you might win your fight off drop, but it is kind of hard to continue fighting with the amount of loot you get. But I don't know, some people do find success there, so I don't know. I found like my little niche, so I like to land at the zipline building, the big zipline building, right? And then, and then I just follow up in Fragment where I know there's going to be more fighting, and then try to just take the fights and win them, obviously. So the guns I like to use are like a Volt or an R9. I will carry the Mastiff a lot of the times, or like an R301 or potentially a Flatline. I mean, you could use the Hemlock. The Hemlock's really broken right now. I don't always like agree with the fact that you need a long range gun to get this. I think like if you're going to play the long range game, the game really has to come to you in a certain way that you just can't really predict. If that doesn't make sense, the simplest way I can put it is like if you're going to use a G7 Scout, right? You need to set yourself up and your teammate up to take fights from a distance. And if the team just constantly is going to close the gap and get close to you, you need to be prepared to fight them close up as well. So, I mean, there is sort of like a balance to it. If every fight you take is close range, then you obviously need the close range gun. But if they're going to try to increase the gap, then your close range guns are going to be like ineffective. But I don't know, not to get too like bogged down in it, I recommend an SMG, and you can use whatever else you want for your secondary, whatever gun you're most comfortable with. All right, so I got 5 kills here. We're rolling back up to Fragment. As you can see, all the fights we take are just all around Fragment still. Now, it is tough to gauge what your damage is at, but anytime I start to make it like mid or late game, that's when I'm really going to focus on like, okay, I need to put out a lot of damage, because if I've been alive this long and I've got a certain amount of kills, then chances are I have a certain amount of damage. So you just kind of want to try to multiply that essentially. So my teammate is fighting somebody else. I'm not really sure like what's going on. It seems like there were a few different teams here. Lifeline's going to go down. I got to take care of myself. I got a bat here. This Pathfinder seems like, I don't know, kind of a sweaty player. I hit him for 60 and then he drops for some weird reason, so I knock him. Anytime somebody's knocked like right down in this bottom area, they can't get out because there's a lip on the bottom floor. So I'm just watching to make sure nobody goes to revive him. I get the thirst there. I'm going to full heal. And I'm going to wait to see what his teammate does. Let's see if they go for the banner. Maybe they're going to try to... I hear the person climbing up. So I'm thinking like, okay, they're probably a smart player. They're not just going to ride the zip line straight up to me. If you think somebody's starting to take like an alternate angle, they might be a decent player because they know the terrain pretty well. So it's a 1v1 with another sweaty Wraith. And I'm able to put her down. And so we got a few teams left. My teammate had abandoned me, which is actually kind of a good thing, right? Like, because now I can actually kind of get the most damage out of any fight I take. Meaning if I kill both of them, well, then I maximize my damage output. But if you have a teammate, sometimes they're going to steal some of that damage. Now, sometimes they're going to keep you alive as well. So it is a double-edged sword. Once I hit this guy for flesh, then I push really aggressively, knock the Gibby, and then this Revenant just kind of is very lost. He just tries to run from me, and so it makes it easy. So I thirst Gibby first, because I figured Revenant had the gold knock, and they actually both did. So anyway, you get that extra couple hundred damage when you thirst. Now, fast forwarding, there's two teams left. I did hear them fighting briefly, or shooting, I should say, and it sounded like they had snipers. So I grabbed this Kraber. Kraber's great to have late game, but you want to make sure that, like I said before, if you're going to use something like this, you need to increase the gap. If you close the gap with the Kraber and you miss the close range Kraber shot, well, then you're screwed most of the time. At least I am. So I'm trying to see what this team does. But then, you know, my passive is going to go off and somebody's aiming at me. So I'm like, all right, I got to dip. Because I didn't want to be in between both the teams. So I'm trying to wide wrap behind both of them, essentially. Because I figure the team is by, you know, that truck on my right. That trailer, I should say. Which they are. I get shot by them. So I portal kind of out of zone. But I'm looking to do some damage and then that will help me rotate in. So I hit 150 on the horizon. I miss again. I do miss a few shots with this gun, which is unfortunate, but I do hit some that were pretty critical here. All right, so this is important, right? If I play here, I'm thinking the team on the building will zipline to them so that I won't be the one pinched, that this team will be. But I don't really see any play from that team. Like, I don't hear any shots, so I'm just like, all right, I got to dip. I don't want to fight that team with that angle. If two people are directly in front of me, it's going to be really hard to win that fight. I'm looking for isolation, and I'm looking for, like, height advantage. I'm also, like I said, I have the Kraber, so if I can create some space, potentially get a knock, then that's my opening to move up. And once I saw that Horizon chuck her ult, like, way past me, I'm like, all right, these guys probably aren't the smartest players. Because I've been, like, ulted by Horizons in some pretty nasty ways, and just how far she threw that away, I'm like, all right, I can kill these two. So I'm still looking for that third team. I don't want to make a move too soon because I don't want to be the one getting third partied. Now this Horizon starts to peek her head over, so then I get this knock, and I figure they're gonna go for the instant revive. So I see the Loba. I thought I was going to hit her in the head, but I didn't. That was a body shot. But still, I'm doing a lot of damage with this. This is going to help me get closer to the 4K. Trying to hit all your shots with the Kraber, or even most of them. I mean, you don't get the 337, which it showed. I'm going to get 200 on the knock to the Horizon. But, you know, that's 400 or close to 500 damage there that I just did to them. And then now I'm going to look for this the last team. I'm going to look for the last team. I'm going to look where I should be playing. Because I figure they're going to take that zip and they're going to be like directly south. Like that is my guess on where they are. But I have no line of sight on them. So I look at the zone and I know if I play over on this high ground with this rock, it is kind of like the best spot. So I phase just in case they are to my south. I'm going to climb up here and I'm going to use this angle. You can kind of crouch and get like sort of a head glitch on this. It's actually like the best spot in this map. The best spot for this ring. I hit the lifeline for 152. I'm looking for the Watson teammate. I don't see her, so I'm just going to hold this angle. I know the lifeline has to rotate. She has to go back to where she came from. Because I pinged to see if that was in, and it's not in. So I want to pin her down. 152 again. It's unfortunate I didn't get a headshot there, but honestly, doing that's 300 damage right there, the 2 shots to the lifeline. So that's really, really important late game. Just keep in mind, like, I don't know where I'm at damage-wise. There are going to be games where you're like, okay, I'm close. Then there are going to be games where you're just like, I don't know. I really don't know. Because you're going to look at your kills and you're going to think your kills are equivalent to your damage, but it's never like that. Like, I know for a fact I got at least like 2 or 3 kills that were people like were on flesh, like 50 HP or less. So I know I was going to run out of bullets with the Kraber, so I go check that package for the Prowler or for a gun. You know, I got the Prowler. End up missing while they rotate, and then this headshot really should have hit, but it doesn't, unfortunately. So now I have a secondary. Prowler's an insanely good gun. I got zone. I'm looking to see like what's their play. What's this lifeline and Watson gonna do? They can't rotate to me for free, but they do have like triple takes. So this is where like my short range isn't gonna come in handy, especially with like the head glitch this Watson has. Now, I don't know what the lifeline has, but I think she has another sniper too. So I see that like the edge of that little rock is in. And I'm not getting any hits on these guys because they just have like nasty head glitches. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go for the Hail Mary. I'm going to try to kidnap one. Now I do this so I can take one person out of the fight and they just walk right in. So I have a 1v1, which is perfect because that's the ISO I needed. And then Lifeline just runs for the res and doesn't even try to shoot me. And that's it. That's how we do it. All right, guys. I hope you're able to learn a thing or two. And once again, if you're new, please consider subscribing. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.
You are the Apex champions.
Come on, give me 4K. Yes! Let's go, baby! We barely did it, but we did it. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. 2 damage over? Oh my god, bro. Let's go.